The clouds have covered up the sun and the temperature has fallen here at Spillane Field. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Bourne Braves broadcast of the Braves versus the Wareham Gatemen today on July 11th from Spillane Field. The Bravos right now, Sam, riding the longest active winning streak coming into tonight's game at 3 games, longest win streak of the season. What do you think has changed from this Braves team that went 3-8 the second quarter of the season?
Well, it's been a lot, and I think the big thing has been the hitting. The Braves have outscored their opponents 24-6, and we saw last week where the pitching, the bullpen was really struggling, and they weren't really getting the run. The batting was getting the run support, but the bullpen wasn't coming through. And this past 3-game streak, we've really seen that happen in a big 14-0 victory against Falmouth, 6-4 over Katuitt, and 4-2 last night against Hyannis. The pitching has come together, the hitting has all come together, and it's come out to this 3-game win streak, Jordan.
And right now, Wareham sitting on top of the West Division at 29 points in first place over Katuitt at 28 points. The Braves 1-1 against the Gatemen so far this season with a 6-1 win, and the last time 8 days ago, it was a 7-5 loss. What do the Braves have to do, Sam, to get their second win over the Gatemen?
Well, this Wareham team hits well. They lead the entire Cape League in average just over 290. This is a very hard-hitting team. The Braves need to come out and pitch well. That's something they didn't do when they played here last against Wareham in a 7-5 loss. All 7 of those runs were scored in the first 2 innings against Josh Culliver, who was the starter that day. Nick Domkowski on the mound for the Braves today. He needs to be solid so he can limit the amount of runs scored by Wareham so the Bourne Braves lineup can do what they've been doing in this past 3-game stretch, and that's score runs.
And with a win today and a loss from the Falmouth Commodores, who are going up against the Chatham Anglers over at Veterans Field, the Braves can pull within 3 points of Falmouth for third place. And how important do you think that would be for the Braves to pull that close in the third?
Well, yeah, just when you think that those top 3 are really pulling away, the Braves suddenly pull closer and within 5 points of Falmouth in that third spot. I think it's important because it gives you a little bit of comfort getting in that third spot. That fourth spot, you're kind of on the edge. The Braves have a big lead over Hyannis right now, but it's still that last playoff spot. You bring yourself up to number 3. It's a better seed in the playoffs, and it's also more comfort knowing that, yeah, you're in the playoffs by 1 whole spot.
Yeah, you definitely have a little bit more room for air. The manager's meeting at home plate right now, and we will take a quick break. But when we come back, the Braves will head for their 4th win in a row when we come back here on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. First pitch just moments away here from Spillane Field. The 10-14 Bourne Braves taking on the first place Wareham Gatemen, sitting at 14-11-1. Let's go over the starting lineups for the Bravos tonight. Judge Fabian leads off in center field. Cody Morissette follows suit at second base, batting second. Xavier Warren back in the starting lineup after the day off yesterday, at third base. Jimmy Golenke at short, cleaning things up. Jackson Greer, who caught yesterday, is DHing. Jake McKenzie out in left field. Nick Bruiser playing first in the 7th spot. Jacob Campbell catching tonight in the 8th spot. And rounding things out is Kyle Hess in right field. And Sam, the Braves going up against a pitcher that they've already faced before and somebody looking for their first win in J.P. Gates.
Yeah, a pitcher they already faced before and got their first win against Wareham. It was J.P. Gates pitching in that 6-1 win, and he gets the start for the Gatemen tonight. Has an 0-2 record, a pretty high 3.85 ERA in his 4 games started. Has pitched 9 1/3 innings on the season, 9 strikeouts, only 2 walks, allowing 13 hits on the season. The last time he pitched was July 6th in a game at Harwich, a 2-0 loss. He picked up the loss in that decision, 3 1/3 innings pitched, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, allowing 5 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts while he faced 15 batters. The last time he faced Bourne was July 1st, went 3 innings there, allowing 3 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 strikeouts, and facing 14 batters. So the Braves looking to rattle him up a little bit, just like they did last time, Jordan.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Defensively for the Gatemen, Gates is on the mound. Dallas Beaver is catching behind the plate. Jacob Teeter over at first. Darren Baker at home at second base. Benjamin Sims at short. Chad Stevens at third. In left field, it's Toro Otsuka, Braden Ward in center, and Matt McLean rounds things out for the Gatemen defensively. And we were talking a little about it in the open, Sam, as we're awaiting first pitch. The Braves right now on a 3-game win streak, longest of their season and the longest currently active streak in the entire league.
Yeah, this is one of the hottest teams in the Cape Cod Baseball League. The Braves, which fell to 7-14 after a doubleheader loss against Hyannis, have really picked things up. 3 big wins in their last 3 games. They've outscored opponents 24-6, which has really seen some of their best baseball this summer. They're scoring runs finally, and the pitching has come together as well. It's been a fun 3 games to watch, and they hope to continue that against the top team in the Western Division.
And we'd mentioned it's almost funny how it's already been a week since the Braves started this stretch of 17 games in 16 days. It's been 6 days since that streak has started. Now with only 10 games remaining in the next 10 days, the Braves 4-3 now on that stretch after falling to 1-3. Judge Fabian stepping in. Braves sitting in 4th place right now in the Western Division, 5 points currently behind Falmouth for that 3rd spot, but with a win and a Falmouth loss today, they could pull within 3. Judge Fabian looks at the first pitch. That misses up and out. We are underway. First pitch at 6:46.
And Fabian's coming off a very uncharacteristic 0-4 last night against Hyannis.
1-0 now to Fabian. Breaking ball. That misses the zone. Fabian now with the 2-0 lead. Judge Fabian so far on the season, you mentioned he went 0-for last night, but batting .308 so far this season. 2-0 pitch is a fastball that finds the zone. 2-1 now. Fabian, of course, leads the team with 3 home runs, hit 2 of which against Katuitt a couple nights ago. 2-1 now. Another fastball that finds the zone from Gates. And now the count evens at 2-2. When Gates threw against the Braves earlier in the season, he allowed 3 runs, all of which coming in the first inning. 2-2 pitches in the dirt. Fabian does not bite on it as it skips behind Beaver, the catcher. The count fills up at 3-2.
And Fabian had one of his 3 hit ball games against J.P. Gates earlier in the year, 3 for 5 in that 6-1 win with a run scored and 2 strikeouts.
Here's the payoff pitch from Gates. Foul tipped back into the glove of Dallas Beaver, and for the first batter of the game, Fabian goes down on strikes.
And Fabian now, since his 3-run home run against Katuitt, has fallen to 0 for 5. That's his 15th strikeout on the season.
He's averaging about 1 per game. Cody Morissette now stepping in, hitting .309. Looks at a first pitch strike right at the knees. Morissette last night against Hyannis went 1 for 3 with a walk. Currently riding an 8-game hit streak as he looks at the 0-1 that finds his own now. 0-2, he falls behind.
And Morissette did not get a chance to face J.P. Gates the last time Gates pitched against the Braves. Morissette getting a night off in that 6-1 win for the Bourne Braves.
Here's the 0-2 now to Morissette, way up, and it almost brushes him off the plate and actually scraped off the knuckles. So the ball pitch is hit. It hits Morissette off the hand, it looks like, and he'll be able to jog down to first base after falling behind 0-2.
Yeah, Morissette trying to duck out of that one, but it looked like it just hit him right in the hand. It was a fastball high and tight from J.P. Gates. And again, Cody Morissette gets on base. That'll be the 9th game in a row he's gotten on base, and he's been one of the most consistent batters during not only this 3-game winning streak, but just this whole middle part of the season.
Now here's Xavier Warren batting from the right side, going up against the lefty Gates. He looks at a first pitch in the dirt for ball 1. Warren hitting .259 on the season. Was supposed to have the day off yesterday, but actually appeared in a pinch hit yesterday with an RBI single. It was actually an infield single that he beat out in that game against the Harbor Hawks last night. Here's the 1-0. That's in the zone on the off speed, and count evens at a ball and a strike.
Yeah, that was Xavier Warren's first scheduled off day since the 2nd game of the season against Harwich. He got that full day off, but the Braves needing Xavier Warren to help out a little bit in those later innings, and he delivered.
Gates takes a look at first, now fires home with the 1-1. It's in the dirt. Beaver does a nice job behind the plate of keeping that in front of him, and the count now moves to 2 balls and a strike.
And Warren with his 15 RBIs, it leads the team. He's also ranking 9th in the league as well.
2-1. Morissette picked off. They have him now in the middle of a run down the throw from the first baseman. Teeter gets under the glove of Benjamin Sem. So Morissette, who was picked off over at first base, now gets to advance to second.
Lucky play for Cody Morissette. He was caught right in the middle of the base path, and the throw from Jacob Teeter, the first baseman, was too low for Ben Sims, the shortstop, covering second. It hit his glove and went over into center field. So Morissette luckily gets on second base, and the Braves have a runner in scoring position with only 1 out, and their leading RBI getter at the plate.
So it's already an error in the first inning on the first baseman Teeter. Now Warren looks at the 2-1. That misses low, and the count now moving to 3-1, and the Braves already threatening.
And the Braves, not a team that steals at all. Only 7 stolen bases. Jake McKenzie has 5 of those. That ranks last in the league by 14.
3-1 now to Warren, and it's in the zone. He was getting ready to jog down to first base for a walk. Now he has to see another pitch. Count filling up at 3-2. Braves scoring 2 runs last night on the wild pitch. 1 early in the game, and then 1, of course, in that bottom of the 8th inning. Wild pitch was followed up by Warren hitting that infield single. Here's a 3-2. Line drive into left field. Otsuka moving left, and he can't get it. He catches it on the hop. Here comes Morissette rounding third. He jogs in. Warren stretches the double into a double, a single into a double, and the Braves in the first inning now lead it 1-0.
Well, they do it again. The Braves get on top first. That's been something they've been doing so well during this stretch of ball games. Xavier Warren, a beautifully hit ball to left field that he just got into second. That throw from Tora Otsuka in left field was close, but he scores Morissette. That's how important that pickoff move was over in between first and second, allowing Morissette to get over to second base, and the Braves scoring a run, getting on top first.
Now here's Jimmy Glowacki stepping in. He looks at a first pitch that misses the zone. Braves up 1-0 here, top of the first inning. Glowacki batting .264 so far on the season. Warren with another RBI as well, padding that team lead. Here's the 1-0 to Glowacki. Just misses the zone. He's got a 2-0 lead now. Glowacki last night going 1 for 3 with a double, a walk, and a run scored, and he always seems to fill up the box score. Gates already in some trouble now. Comes set. Hands meet just in front of the letters. Takes a peek at Warren at second. Now comes home with the 2-0. And that's in the zone on the fastball just outside for strike 1.
And I think this view, Jordan, right on top of the dugout third base side, gives a view of how far in the box Jimmy Glowacki stands in his stance. He's right on that back line, his right foot touching the line. He's expecting a lot of fastballs from J.P. Gates with the stance that far back in the batter's box.
2-1. Glowacki fouls it straight back toward the seats. It stays in play, but Beaver, the catcher, can't hang on to it. Glowacki survives for another pitch, and the Gatemen now, you could say, Sam, should have already had 2 outs.
Beaver was tracking that ball in. Looked like he was going to have a chance. He had some room right by the wall, but couldn't put the glove in the right place. It hit right off the thumb, and Glowacki gets a second chance, 2-2. But you're right, Jordan. That's 2 blown outs. 1 on the pickoff to Morissette, and 1 on that fly ball to Beaver.
Yeah, with those 2 outs, the Gatemen could have already been out of this inning.
Now Glowinky's moving a little more up in his stance.
2-2. Breaking ball misses the zone. Count filling up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Morissette was hit on an 0-2 pitch by Gates, advanced to second on a throwing error from the first baseman Teeter, then was hit home on the RBI double from Xavier Warren. That's where we find ourselves now here, 3-2 with 1 out against Jimmy Glowinky. Here's the pitch from Gates, chopped over to shortstop. That's Benjamin Sems. Warren advancing to third on the play. The throw to first is in time. It beats Glowinky by a step, but the runner Warren moves up to third base.
That was a bang play over at first. Benjamin Sims gloves it, throws to first. A fastball over to first that was able to get Glowinky just in time, but moves Xavier Warren over to third for a little extra run here to pad on this lead in the first.
And here's Jackson Greer batting .281. Greer, of course, playing for his third team with the Braves, has finally found his home as he takes the first pitch into shallow right field. This might get down for a hit, and it will, just over the outstretched glove of Jacob Teeter, who dove on the play. It's a first hit pitch single from Greer, and the Braves now lead 2-0 here in the top of the first.
That was lucky placement from Jackson Greer off the end of the bat in no man's land, right down by the first base line. Teeter couldn't get it. It was behind him. Darren Baker made an effort as well as Matt McClain, and it fell in between all 3 of them. Got Xavier Warren home. It's another RBI for Jackson Greer, and the Braves pad onto it 2-0.
And the Braves coming out with a lot of firepower in this first inning. Jake McKenzie steps in, looks at a first pitch that misses the zone. McKenzie hitting .285 on the season, very quietly so, and very quietly as well has a 5-game hit streak coming into tonight's game. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball that missed the zone low. Count evens at a ball and a strike.
Yeah, McKenzie's coming off a 1-for-2 performance, a stolen base, a double as well.
Greer, the runner on first. Here's the 1-1. McKenzie looks at it outside. Count now at 2 balls and a strike. McKenzie over at Fordham, usually a middle infielder, has been moved over to the outfield here this season with the Braves, playing left field today. 2-1 misses outside, and now McKenzie with the big lead in the count here, 3-1.
This is exactly what the Braves did to J.P. Gates, and the first time they faced him, they put 3 runs in the bottom half of the third back on July 1st, and that was able to get them to coast throughout the rest of the game and get the victory.
3-1 pitch, grounded foul. You'll notice here the infield dirt, quote unquote, is actually gravel, colored gray. The foul lines, you'll notice there aren't any on the baseline or the infield grass because the grass is the foul line.
Yeah, one of the more unique fields. The gravel infield allows for some weird hops in the infield.
Never really going to know what you're going to get. 3-2 pitch, and Greer is picked off as well. This time, Teeter throw is in time to Darren Baker, who's covering second, and the Braves run themselves out of the inning, but not before scoring 2 runs off of 2 hits and a little help from an error as well. We head to the bottom of the first with the Braves on top of the Wareham Gatemen 2-0 here on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. The Braves put 2 runs in the top of the first inning to take the advantage over the Wareham Gatemen. Let's go over the Gatemen starting 9. It's Braden Ward leading off in center field, followed by Darren Baker at second. Jacob Teeter in the 3 spot playing first. Adrian Del Castillo cleaning things up, DH tonight. Matt McClain in right. Dallas Beaver behind the plate catching. Benjamin Sams at shortstop in the 7 hole. Chad Stevens at third in the 8 spot. And Tora Otsuka in left field rounds out the starting 9, and they're going up against a familiar face here, Nick Dumkowski.
Dumkowski, the lefty out of Hartford, a rising junior on the season, has pitched in 4 games. All 4 of them started a 1-2 record, 3.37 ERA, pitching 16 innings, 19 hits, allowing 6 earned runs, 7 walks, and striking out 10. He's coming off his best performance of the year against Harwich. 5 innings pitched there, only allowing 3 hits, scoreless baseball, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts while he picked up his first win of the season.
First pitch to Braden Ward is in the zone for a strike. Defensively for the Braves, it's Jacob Campbell behind the plate, Nick Bruiser at first, Cody Morissette at second, Jimmy Glowinky at short, Xavier Warren at third, and then Mackenzie, Fabian, and Hess in left, center, and right, respectively. Here's the 0-1 now. That misses upstairs. Count evens at a ball and a strike.
Braden Ward leading it off for the Gatemen today is coming off one of his best hitting performances of the season last night against Chatham. 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and a homer as well.
Ward batting .333 as he looks at ball 2. That misses inside from Dumkowski. Dumkowski coming off his best start of the season. Through 5 innings. Only allowing 3 hits, striking out 5 as well. 2-1 pitch is chopped over to second base. Morrison makes the glove catch. Throw on to first base. Beats Ward by a step. He's a speedy one, but it's out number 1 for the Bravos.
Yeah, Ward made that a play. Morrison had to move over to his left side in this weird gravel infield that took a little bit of a weird hop. He placed his glove a little bit lower than he expected, but was able to glove it, throw it over to first in time to get the leadoff batter for the Braves.
Now here's Darren Baker, who has given the Braves some trouble so far in the season, batting .315. Shows bunt and does bunt it down the first base line. Dumkowski slipping, throwing to first base. Baker beats it out. It would have been an incredible play by Dumkowski, who slipped, going to get the ball, and then slipped again, throwing the ball to first base.
Yeah, that was a great effort by Nick Dumkowski. Was able to track it in, picked it up with his bare hand, and was slipping on his throw over. But Darren Baker just has so much speed. He's got 5 stolen bases on the year and was able to beat that one out on the bunt attempt. So the Wareham Gatemen have their first hit of the evening and their first base runner as well in Darren Baker.
Here comes Jacob Teeter, who's batting .301, and you have to watch Baker over there at first base, like you said, with 5 stolen bases. Also, Braden Ward as well, 16 stolen bases. Would have been dangerous if he got on. Time is called. Dumkowski trying to carry the momentum from his last start against Harwich into tonight's game. That Harwich game coming 6 days ago. Dumkowski sets, now fires the first pitch, and it misses down and away for ball 1. Will be interesting to see when the Gatemen decide to test not only Dumkowski, but Jacob Campbell behind the plate catching. Here's the 1-0. That misses outside. And the count now 2-0 to 3-hole hitter and Jacob Teeter.
We talk about how hot and how good this Wareham lineup is. Their lineup last night in a 7-0 victory against Chatham, 7 out of the 9 batters are batting over 300. And all 7 of those are batting in this lineup today as well.
You don't get to first place by a mistake. 2-0 pitch is upstairs, and now Dumkowski having some trouble finding the zone after the bunt single from Baker. He falls behind here 3-0.
Oh, he's got a 2-0 lead right now for the Braves, scoring 2 in the top half of the first. But Dumkowski has a little bit of a cushion, but he can't let this first inning get out of hand to the Wareham Gatemen that are just so dangerous at the plate.
Here's the 3-0. That's a much-needed strike right down the middle. Count now at 3-1. Wind moving toward center field in excess of about 10 miles an hour or so. Dumkowski will be looking for a ground ball here to get him out of this bottom of the first. Here's a 3-1. Line drive into right center field, and this is Just over the outstretched glove of Kyle Hess, who dove on the play. Baker had to hold up because of Hess's efforts. It's a one-out double. Runners now on second and third here for the Wareham Gatemen.
That was slapped over to right center field for Teeter. It looked like Hess might have a chance on it for a little bit, but his dive just falls short. Allows Teeter to get to second base. A pretty good throw out in right center field by Judd Fabian, who's able to get that ball in and hold Darren Baker over at third. But Wareham has now their 2 runs on second and third with the number 4 batter and Adrian Del Castillo coming up.
Right, only 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. The Braves still with a 2-0 lead as we stand. Adrian Del Castillo stepping in, batting an even 300 on the season. Domkowski being forced to work early here. First pitch to Del Castillo is in the zone on the outer half for strike 1.
And Del Castillo is coming off a multi-hit performance, went 2 for 5 with a run scored and an RBI against Chatham last night.
Chatham definitely a tough team to beat. 0-1 now from Domkowski. Fouled straight back into the fence behind home plate. And Domkowski quickly going ahead here 0-2.
After getting the first batter of the Wareham lineup, Braden Ward, out on the ground out, Domkowski has struggled through the next 2. This would be a big out, number 2, for Domkowski with runners on second and third.
Especially if he's able to get it by the strikeout as well. Domkowski says hands meet at the belt. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He had Del Castillo fooled on the off speed. And that's a big out, number 2.
Yeah, Domkowski really working his off speed that entire at bat. In 3 pitches, is able to retire Adrian Del Castillo on a swinging strike 3 on a beautiful breaking ball from Nick Domkowski, and that's the second out. So the sac fly is no longer a possibility. Matt McLean is going to have to get on to score Darren Baker over at third.
2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Runners at second and third. First pitch now to McLean, and it misses upstairs for ball 1. McLean, another player batting over 300. He's at 310 this season. Baker reached first off a bunt single and then was doubled to third by Jacob Teeter, who stands on second base right now. Time called by the batter McLean. 2-0 score, I should say, in the bottom of the first inning. It's a 1-0 count to Matt McLean. Domkowski comes set, now fires the 1-0. And that misses upstairs. And Domkowski falling behind here, 2-0.
And McLean is coming off a 3-walk performance against Chatham. He has 8 walks during his 17 games played this year.
Definitely will be looking fastball here on this 2-0 count. Domkowski kicks and fires home the 2-0, and it's in the zone. It's fastball. Count now at 2-1. That's a much-needed strike there from Nick Domkowski.
It is. Doesn't allow McLean to get up 3-0. Fires a strike in there, so McLean knows what he can do in the strike zone, and now makes that a 2-1 count for Domkowski.
Tense moments already here in the first inning. Braves trying to hold on to their 2-0 lead. However, a base hit here from Matt McLean could likely tie up the game. McLean, no, actually Jake Campbell, the catcher, calling for time. As everybody takes a breath and steps back into action here. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. There's the 2-1 now. And it's nubbed right off the end of the bat, foul toward the first base dugout, the Wareham dugout. McLean way ahead of that one. He fouls it off for strike 2.
These two teams playing each other very closely the last time these two met here at Spillane Field. Wareham got off to a hot 7-1 lead, but the Braves came back in the 6th, 7th, and 8th with 1 run, 2 runs, and another run in the top of the 8th. So no matter how big each team's lead is going to be, it's going to be a battle the entire 9 innings.
Deuces wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with 2 runners on. And the pitch is floated over the head of Jimmy Glowacki. Baker comes in. Teeter trying to score from third. The throw is cut off. And with 1 swing of the bat off Matt McLean, we have ourselves a tie ball game here. A 2-out, 2 RBI single. And we're all knotted up at 2.
You could tell Matt McLean was expecting a breaking ball, and he sat on that off-speed pitch from Nick Domkowski and placed a beautiful single right into left field in front of Jake McKenzie. Enough time for Darren Baker and Jacob Teeter to come around to score, and Wareham ties it up in the first inning.
Here's Dallas Beaver now. After Matt McLean ties us up at 2 runs. Beaver on the season batting .352 for the Gatemen in 15 games. There goes the runner. McLean on the first pitch. Campbell's throw down is not in time. It pulled Glowenke, who is covering second, off the bag. And even if it was spot on, I think McLean would have probably taken second base.
And Jackson Greer had a throw out last night from behind the plate against that's Jacob Campbell. Teams love to run against Jacob Campbell, but Greer with a throw out last night. Tonight it's Jacob Campbell. Can't get the job done.
So the answer to our question of how long they're going to be willing to wait, bottom of the first inning. Here's a 1-0 now. Misses down and out. Count now at 2-0. And with that stolen base, a base hit here by Beaver with McLean's speed will likely score him as well. Both these offenses coming into this game hot and showing it here in the first inning. Both teams with 2 runs. Here's the 2-0, and it gets off the glove of Campbell. McLean is going to jog into third base on the pass ball from Campbell. Now the Gatemen only 90 feet away from the lead.
Oh, that could end up being big. Jacob Campbell already struggling behind the plate, allowing a steal from McLean, and now he gets over to third on a complete passed ball to Jacob Campbell, one that hit him in the glove and got back to the backstop. So that could end up being really big with an insurance run for the Gatemen just 90 feet away in the first.
3-0 count here to the catcher, Dallas Beaver. And here's the pitch from Domkowski. Misses down and away. It's a 4-pitch walk for Beaver, and that'll bring up Benjamin Sems here with runners on the corners.
Well, Domkowski needs to get out of this inning as Ace Adams, pitching coach, is going to have a meeting with Domkowski this early in the game. But this Wareham lineup, we talk about how good it is, leads the entire league in average. They're batting over .290 as a team. They can get to you really fast. Domkowski's already suffered the 2-0 lead that the Braves built up in the top of the first, and he's seeing what the Wareham Gatemen can do right now.
Ace Adams returns to the dugout. Campbell returns behind the plate. And here comes Benjamin Sems. Sems on the season batting .314. 22 hits, 3 of which being doubles. Has the opportunity to give the Gatemen the lead here in the bottom of the first inning after the Braves put 2 on in the top half. Wareham have put 2 in the bottom half and are threatening here still with 2 away. Domkowski comes set. First pitch into Sems is in the dirt for ball 1. Campbell blocks it, keeps it in front of him, and the count at a ball and no strikes.
Well, Domkowski now a little rattled, having some problems with location coming off a walk, and now a first pitch ball to Ben Sems at the plate.
Domkowski sets, takes a look at first, now comes home with the 1-0, and it misses the zone outside. Count at 2 balls and no strikes now. Sems in last night's game against Chatham, he was hitless. 0 for 5. However, a hit here would give the Gatemen the lead. 2-0 now, and that misses the zone once again. 7 consecutive balls out of the hand of Nick Domkowski. And no movement over in the Braves bullpen. Still way too early, I think, to make a move, but Domkowski is struggling here in this bottom of the first inning.
Oh, I think he's a little scared by this lineup, and as he should be, he's really struggling with location. You mentioned the 7 straight balls. He needs to fire a strike in here right now.
Here's a 3-0 now from Domkowski, and that's in the zone. A much-needed strike to get him settled in back on the rubber, and the count at 3-1 now.
And what Domkowski can do is he can throw strikes and really trust his field. This is a very good field that has the lowest amount of errors in the entire league. So if he can do that, get the Gateman to make a little contact, and just let his fielders make the plays.
3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, runners on the corners for the Gatemen. 3-1 misses upstairs. It's back-to-back walks from Domkowski, and now the bases are juiced here in the bottom of the first for Chad Stevens.
That wasn't even close. Didn't give Sems much of a fight, and he's now on, and the bases are loaded. This could really get out of hand if Chad Stevens can make something happen at the plate.
Stevens, the third baseman in tonight's game, batting .250, and that's one of the lower averages you'll see on this team. Only 9 RBIs on the season. Takes the first pitch to right field. Kyle Hess is under it, drifting a little bit with the win. He makes the catch with one hand for a huge out, number 3. However, not before the Gatemen are able to storm back. They hit 8 hitters. They get 2 runs off of 3 hits, and they leave 3 on base. We got a ball game on our hands tonight, folks. 2-2 as we head to the top of the second here on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. Jake McKenzie set to lead us off here in the top of the second inning, a long first inning, clocking in at 30 minutes. I guess that's what happens when you have 4 runs combined there, Sam.
Yeah, that's what this game could end up being, a shootout. 2 runs for each team in the first inning. It's a 2-2 game. And if it's a shootout, this Wareham team is extremely good on the batting side.
First pitch to McKenzie. Looks at it for ball 1. McKenzie was up in the middle of that bat in the last inning when Jackson Greer was picked off at first base. Here's the 1-0 now to McKenzie. Fouls it right off the mask of Dallas Beaver, the catcher. Bounces into the backstop, and the count evens at a ball and a strike.
Wareham obviously with the top average in the league. The Braves right in the middle of the pack after being in the bottom 2 for a lot of the first half of the season. They're now in 5th with a 247 team average.
1-1 to McKenzie is a breaking ball that McKenzie offers that. It was in the dirt. Count goes now to ball and 2 strikes. And J.P. Gates working quickly, fires in the 1-2. Misses up and out. A waste pitch there. Count now evens at 2-2. Check this one out, Sam. We got 2-2 game in the second inning and a 2-2 count. Pitch now to McKenzie's chopped foul over towards Harvey Shapiro on the third base coach's box, and we'll stay put at 2-2.
And what's the number of Jake McKenzie?
Number 2.
Wow.
It's a game of numbers.
It is.
Yeah.
Baseball's a numbers game. Also a game of coincidences as well, and this is one of those.
Gates kicks and fires the 2-2. Popped up. This is going to travel foul over toward the goalpost. Spillane Field here at Wareham High School, usually a football field, and that's evidenced by the 2 goalposts. Maybe that's why this infield is gravel.
Yeah, this is, like I said before, one of the unique spots in the Cape Cod Baseball League. You have the outfield seating, which not a lot of teams have, but Wareham has it because this is a football field.
2-0 is an off speed that stays up and outside. Count will fill up at 3-2. McKenzie has worked himself a nice at-bat here. Here comes the payoff pitch now from Gates. Ground ball to third base. That's Chad Stevens. He's got it. Throw across the diamond is in time for out number 1.
Well, already Jake McKenzie has seen 2 3-ball, 2-strike counts. He had one when Jackson Greer was caught stealing, and another 3-2 count there. He hits a hard ground ball over to third, but Chad Stevens, pretty routine for him, throws him out over at first. So McKenzie falls to 0 for 1. That brings up Nick Bruiser.
Bruiser, the first baseman tonight, hitting .226 this season. 0 for 2 with a strikeout before he got taken out in the game against Hyannis last night. He looks at a first pitch strike on the inner half. Bruiser with 2 doubles on the air, and both of those coming here at Spillane Field. Hit 2 doubles in the game 8 days ago in that 7-5 loss. Here's the 0-1 from Gates. Misses upstairs. Ball and a strike now to number 1, Nick Bruiser.
Nick Bruiser getting a unique start here tonight. Doesn't happen too often for him. Usually Cade Beloso, the starting first baseman, but Beloso gets a night off and Bruiser starts it.
1-1 misses up and out as well. 2-1 now the count. Bruiser going to be entering his junior year with the Cardinal at the end of the Cape season. 2-1 pitch is skied on the infield. Jacob Teeter, the first baseman, backpedaling and makes the catch on the run. He made it look maybe, I think, a lot more difficult than it was. There's that number 2 now for the Braves.
Yeah, it looked like that fly out traveled a little bit to Teeter's right side. He had to move just in time to be able to retire Bruiser, so he goes down, and now it's Jacob Campbell.
And Campbell in the season, 167. Hasn't had that many at-bats, though. He's only 3 for 18. Hit a double the last time he played against Katuitt in a 1 for 4 game. Looks at the first pitch that misses the zone low for ball 1.
And that was a hard hit double over the center fielder's head, the hardest ball that Jacob Campbell has hit this season.
1-0 now to Campbell. Fouled back over the press box. Count evens at a ball and a strike. And there's just a couple guys left on this Braves team who are just really waiting for that bat to just settle in. First, it was Cody Morissette, and he's obviously very much so turned it around. Brendan Rivoli has gotten to go in the past couple games as well. Campbell's just one of those last outliers as he fouls the 1-1 pitch off toward the Wareham dugout.
Well, yeah, I think you're waiting on Jacob Campbell. Kyle Hess has really picked things up a little bit as well. He's coming off a 2 for 4 game, the last game he played in against Katuitt, but it's really just those two players that we're just kind of waiting on to get their bats going. Rivoli's coming off an 0 for performance as well.
1-2 misses upstairs. Count at 2-2. Rivoli in a pinch hit at bat last night. He struck out. Now here comes the 2-2 from Gates, and Campbell now for the 3rd pitch in a row fouls it off. And we got ourselves a battle here between Campbell and Gates.
Yeah, this lineup obviously starting the season slow. There's no doubt about that. One of the bottom 2 averages for most of the first half. And these batters have really picked things up and have really settled in, gotten used to the pitching. And that's been the key during this 3-game stretch is how many runs they've been able to score.
We have time called by Campbell right as Gates was going to start his motion. Gates reportedly sick the past couple of days. Didn't travel with the team, dealing with flu-like symptoms. So he fires a 2-2 into Campbell, grounded over towards second base. Baker fields it on a knee, stands up, and the throw to first base is in time for out number 3. The Braves go 1-2-3 here in the top of the second inning. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on. We head to the bottom of the second now. Score remains 2-2 here on the Bourne Braves YouTube channel. Nine 1-2 due up here in the bottom of the second inning. 2-2 ball game between the Braves and the first place Wareham Gatemen. Toro Tsuka second on this team in terms of batting average. .354. That's throughout the entire season. First pitch to him, he hooks way foul over the fence and toward the parking lot. I'm pretty sure there's a little parking lot over on that side of the field. He falls behind 0-1.
And this Wareham lineup already getting to Nick Domkowski, almost batting around in the bottom of the first inning, matching the Braves' two runs for a 2-2 tie.
0-1 is off speed, and it's in the zone. Ozuka didn't like the call, but he's got to deal with it now. He falls behind 0-2.
Yeah, Ozuka's coming off a 1-for-3 performance against Chatham. Productive performance last night for him.
Yeah, there's no at-bats off in this Wareham lineup. Here comes the 0-2 now from Domkowski. Otsuka thought about it, decided to hold back, and he watches it go by down and outside for ball 1. 2-2 score here, bottom of the second inning. The Braves are looking from a solid inning out of Nick Domkowski, as time is called. Wareham in first place at 14-11-1 in the West Division with 29 points. Katuitt only trails them by a single point with 28. Falmouth in third at 25 points, who the Braves will see tomorrow, weather permitting. And then the Bravos sitting in fourth at 20 with a 9-point lead over the Harbor Hawks. 1-2 pitch, strike 3 called on the outer half. Otsuka goes down looking for out number 1 here in the bottom of the second.
Well, Nick Domkowski in the first inning was able to retire the first batter and then allowed a 2-run first. So he retires the first batter here in the second. It's always a good start to have that first batter down for the first out of the inning. So Domkowski now has to work through this lineup for a second time.
And that first batter he retired now steps back up to the plate. It's Braden Ward who grounded out to Cody Morissette. First pitch to Ward. He squares up to bunt. He pulls it back, but it's in the zone for strike 1. Domkowski coming into the game with a lot of off speed. Shakes off a sign from the catcher Campbell. Shakes off yet another sign. And how about 3 times in a row? We have time called now from batter Ward.
Yeah, they're just trying to get on the same page. Jacob Campbell, not typically the main starting catcher for the Braves.
0-1 popped up into shallow left field. Jake McKenzie is calling for it. He's under it, and he makes the catch. It's a quick 2 up, 2 down now for the Bravos.
That's exactly what Nick Domkowski needs on the mound after a rough first inning where he faced 8 batters. He now gets 2 quick outs, and Darren Baker, one of the most dangerous hitters in this lineup, will come up to try and put a battle against Domkowski, but he's gotten off to this inning pretty solid after a pretty rough first.
Baker got on with a single. It was a bunt single in the first inning. He looks at ball 1. That misses down and outside. Not a huge power hitter, but makes great contact as the 1-0 finds the strike zone. Count evens at a ball and a strike now.
And Jacob Campbell's going to be getting a lot more playing time with Henry Davis having to leave due to an injury.
1-1 misses down and outside. It seems that the rotation for the Braves catchers is just one every other game. Greer and Campbell seemingly will flip-flop games as the 2-1 comes in. It's up and in. Baker holds off, and the count now at 3-1.
And the Braves have right now 29 on the roster, and the final rosters were due yesterday. The max is 30, and they can roll with 29 for as long as they want, and they can possibly add another player as well.
3-1 is tipped back into the glove of Jacob Campbell behind the plate, goes for a strike, and now the count fills up. Baker has been a thorn in the side for the Braves. The last time against the Bravos, 8 days ago on July 3rd, he went 2 for 2 with a run scored. Here's the payoff pitch from Domkowski. Lined into left field. McKenzie coming in on it. He'll play it off a hop, and there's that thorn once again. Baker with another single. He's already 2 for 2 in the second inning.
Yeah, Baker, a hot start in this one. He has been deadly to the Bourne Braves. And that one, again, coming right off the bat and landing in front of McKenzie in left field. It wasn't very hardly hit, but he did just enough to be able to get on first and get a 2-out single.
And that'll bring up Jacob Teeter, who doubled into right center field his last time off a 3-1 pitch. This time, the first pitch to him in the zone, right at the belt for strike 1.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Braves try and find another catcher to fill that 30th roster spot for the whole season, basically, until Henry Davis had to leave just a few days ago. they've been rolling with 3 catchers.
0-1 misses outside. Count evens at a ball and a strike.
And now for the first time, they're at 2, and Campbell doesn't really have the experience that someone like Jackson Greer has had. Campbell playing only 1 season in Illinois and was a backup catcher.
1-1 pitch. The runner is going as the pitch misses upstairs. Baker swipes second base, stolen base of the game. Baker was moving on Domkowski's first motion, and he takes second here with 2 outs.
And they're going to take advantage of Jacob Campbell. We mentioned how many stolen bases he's allowed throughout the season. He's already allowed 2 here in 2 innings, and Darren Baker gets in scoring position with now a 2-1 count on Teeter.
Yeah, and a base hit here will likely score Baker with his speed. Here's the 2-1. Oh, that just misses outside. Good pitch there from Domkowski. Doesn't get the call. Now he falls behind 3-1.
Yeah, close for Nick Domkowski on a fastball. Beautifully framed by Jacob Campbell. Couldn't get the call, and now it's a great count for Teeter to put together some 2-out noise here.
And he doubled on this count in the first inning. Here's the 3-1. And it missed the zone, down and in. So Teeter will jog to first base with a walk. Runners on first and second here with 2 away for Adrian Del Castillo.
And one thing that's concerning for Domkowski is he's already walked 3 batters. He came into this start with 7 batters walked on the season, just 2 in his last start against Harwich. And now in 1 2/3 innings has already walked 3 batters.
Del Castillo struck out swinging on 3 pitches his first time against Domkowski, and he looks at a first pitch strike right at the knees.
And Domkowski started out this inning so strong with a quick strikeout looking to Azuka, a fly out from Braden Ward, 2 quick outs. But you said this earlier, Jordan, this lineup is no batter off for Wareham.
Domkowski takes a look at second. Now fires the 0-1 in, and it's a half-hearted swing and a miss there from Del Castillo. And Domkowski, it looks like he's really got him pulled up at the plate.
Yeah, I think every swing that Del Castillo has offered to Domkowski in his 2 at-bats now has been half-hearted. Haven't seen a ton of swing speed from Del Castillo, and Nick Domkowski has been able to fool him so far.
Del Castillo calls time. Domkowski was able to fan him on 3 pitches in his at-bat in the first, and looking to do the same here. Struck him out with an off-speed pitch. And he comes home now with the 0-2. This time, he gets a little bit of contact, fouling it off over the press box. And everybody will reset for 0-2 once again.
Del Castillo rocking the rare no batting gloves look.
Seen more of that than I thought we would.
Me too, yeah. I thought we'd see a little more batting glove action. But there's been some guys that have been daring to not wear any gloves.
Here's the 0-2 now to Del Castillo. Flown out into center field. Judd Fabian going back on it, and he makes the catch for the 3rd and final outs here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. It's no runs off of 1 hit. 2 left on for the Gatemen. They strand runners at first and second. We head to the top of the 3rd inning. All tied up at 2-2, and you're watching it here on the Bourne Braves YouTube channel. Nine-1-2 spots due up here in the top of the 3rd inning, and Real quickly, Sam, let's have a little trip around the Cape, shall we?
Yeah, why not? This is the last game started, so we already have some scores and pretty late in games. 5-1, YD leads Brewster. That game's in the top of the 7th inning. Top of the 5th at White House Field, 1-0 lead for Katuitt.
Kyle Hess lines his first pitch foul down the right field line, close to threatening to extra bases. Go on, Sam.
Yeah, Katuitt over Harwich right now. Falmouth a 2-0 lead over Chatham. Chatham, of course, with the best record in the Cape Cod Baseball League so far. That game's being played at Veterans Field, and a 0-0 score between Hyannis and Orleans in the top of the 3rd.
0-1 pitch somehow manages to find the zone. It was weirdly caught by Dallas Beaver, who's expecting the ball to be somewhere else, had to quickly adjust. Pitch finds the zone, though. Count moves to 0-2. Here's that delivery from Gates, and it hits Kyle Hess. Watch out. Up at around his shoulder, his right shoulder from the lefty. He'll jog down to first base, and he looks to be okay. And the Braves have a leadoff base runner.
And he's now the second batter that has been hit, with the first being Cody Morissette just skimming him on the hand, and that one really getting Kyle Hess's shoulder. Luckily, he's all right, jogs over to first. But the Braves lead off with a base runner, and Kyle Hess, he's at first, and it's back to the top of the lineup in Judd Fabian.
Fabian struck out swinging his first time. Gates, who has already almost picked off 2 Braves, throws over to first base to check on Kyle Hess. Fabian fouled the 3-2 pitch off into the glove of Dallas Beaver, which was held onto for the first out in the first inning. First pitch to him is off speed, and he fans at it for strike 1.
And one thing you're going to hear, you might hear it here from the broadcast, but Harvey Shapiro, the third base coach, also manager, of course, for this team, very vocal out there, is constantly yelling at his base runners to either get back.
The 0-1 pitch finds a zone outside. You also hear him when there's a runner on second base, letting him know where the shortstop is to him. The second baseman is in relation to the base.
Yep.
Very communicative.
He is, and it's good. The players know he's watching over them on the base pass, and it gives them a little extra comfort.
0-2 bounces before the plate. Beaver does well. Uses the chest protector to keep the ball in front of him. Count out a ball and 2 strikes to Judd Fabian. JP Gates, after suffering 2 runs in the top of the first inning, seems to have settled in here. Throw over to first base once again, and Hess is back in with a slide. Tie ball game here from Spillane Field. Another throw over to first base, and Hess is back in easy. And Harvey Shapiro is asking for a ball call there, saying that Gates came home with his lead foot. He steps off and throws to foot once again, and the Braves bullpen, we can hear it from here, Sam, giving the pitcher Gates a little bit of a razzing.
Oh, yeah, JP is obviously pounding the throws over to first, with Jacob Teeter Hess barely taking a lead.
1-2 pitch is swung on and missed, and for the second time tonight, Judd Fabian goes down on strikes for out number 1 here in the top of the 3rd.
Yeah, 2 quick strikeouts for Fabian. He now has 16 on the whole season. And the Braves, a team that doesn't really strike out a ton. They rank second to last in team strikeouts, with now make that 201 with the 2 strikeouts to Kyle Hess. But Wareham is obviously first with 178.
First pitch to Cody Morissette's in the dirt for ball 1. Morissette was hit by a pitch, and then on first was picked off, but a throwing error by Jacob Teeter helped him advance to second, and then was later knocked in by Xavier Warren for the first of 2 Braves runs. 1-0 to Morissette. Grounded up the middle, right back to J.P. Gates. He's got it through on the second in time, and then back to first base is also in time. It's the good old-fashioned 1-6-3 double play, and that will end us in the top of the 3rd inning. It's no runs off of no hits, nobody left on, and the Braves and Nick Domkowski head back out on defense here for the bottom of the 3rd inning, which you'll see here on the Bourne Braves YouTube channel. Bottom of the third inning. Still knotted up here at 2 apiece after both teams put 2 runs in the top and bottom half of the first inning. Now here's Matt McLean for the Wareham Gatemen to lead us off in the bottom of the third.
And Domkowski luckily getting out of the bottom of the second with nothing or no harm, leaving runners on first and second that were able to get on with 2 outs. But Domkowski needs a quick 1-2-3 inning here to get the Braves back on the batting side.
First pitch to Matt McLean misses the zone for ball 1. Both those runs have come off the bat of Matt McLean, a 2 RBI single back in the first inning. Here's the 1-0. That finds the strike zone on the inner half, and the count evens at a ball and a strike.
Yeah, McLean's already had a pretty eventful game. You mentioned the 2 RBI single, also stole a base in the first inning as well, one of 2 that has been allowed by Jacob Campbell.
1-1 pitch is off speed, and he gets McLean to go ahead of it early in the count now at a ball and 2 strikes. Domkowski working from the windup, taking his time, shaking off a couple signs. Now they come to agreement, him and Jacob Campbell. The 1-2 pitch, grounded to third. Warren's got it on a hop, grips and throws the ball to first base, and it's past Nick Bruiser, who's in the dirt. McLean will advance to second base, and he will stay there, throwing air from Xavier Warren. And now the Gatemen with the go-ahead runner on second base.
Well, this team with the lowest amount of errors in the entire Cape League just sees one there from Xavier Warren. He did a great job of fielding that ball, took his time, fired it over to Bruiser at first, who has an extremely tall frame, but the throw was just way too low. Xavier Warren fired it in. It was too low for Bruiser, gets behind him now, and what could have been an out is now over on second.
Now here comes Dallas Beaver, who walked the last time. First pitch to Beaver, the catcher, who just misses up and out for ball 1. See if the Braves can get themselves out of this jam here. Nobody out. The bottom of the third inning, tied up game. 1-0 now to Beaver. That misses outside. Good pitch from Domkowski. Doesn't get the call despite the frame job from Jacob Campbell. Now it's a 2-0 count here to Beaver.
And Domkowski, when he gets rattled like this, just can't find the zone. He's already allowed 3 walks during this game so far. And he needs to just collect himself and start firing strikes.
Here's the 2-0 now. Popped up. This will be playable on the infield. Xavier Warren calling for the third baseman, and he makes the catch for a much-needed out number 1.
Xavier Warren, very vocal. That's something you need to do in a fly ball that's really anybody's ball in the middle of the infield. Xavier Warren charging in, putting it away for the first out of the inning and retiring Dallas Beaver.
Now here comes Ben Sems, the shortstop who also walked in the first inning. Still awaiting his first official at-bat. Sems batting .314. First pitch into him. Fouled straight back into the screen. He falls behind 0-1. I think this would be a huge confidence boost if Domkowski is able to get out of this inning without sacrificing a run.
Yeah, well, the second inning was big that he allowed 2 runners on, but the Gatemen didn't get anybody home. And this would be big if a leadoff error that allowed Matt McLean to get over to second, Domkowski can possibly get out of it. He should have 2 outs right now, but he only has 1. He just needs to work with what he has.
Here's the 0-1 now to Sems. Popped up over our heads on the third base line, out of play. And heads up over there by the porta potties. That'd be a bad time to get hit by a baseball coming out of one of those things. And
yikes.
Sems falls behind 0-2.
Yikes.
Yeah. Runner on second base here with 1 away in the bottom of the third inning. Tied game, 2-2. As Domkowski shaking off a couple of signs here from Campbell. Now the 2 find the middle ground on a pitch. Domkowski takes a look at second, fires the 0-2 waste pitch fastball that misses way up high. Count out a ball and 2 strikes.
Good waste pitch. I think Domkowski missed it just a little high. It wasn't even in reach of Benjamin Sems, but he's back in with a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Go ahead runner sitting at second base. Once again, Domkowski, very methodical on the mound. We see a lot of guys like J.P. Gates, for example, who is, once he gets in the ball in his glove, he's boom, 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 as we got time called now from the batter, Ben Sems.
And Nick Domkowski, we were talking about this earlier, but we saw him pregame. He's not really one of those pitchers that on a day that he starts doesn't like to talk to anybody.
Right.
He's talking with this whole team, and he's a very lively teammate. He's not afraid to talk to some people even on the day that he does start.
1-2 is off speed, stays up high. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Count evens up, and the wind here is beginning to pick up as well. Moving out towards right center field, the scoreboard here at Spillane Field, part of Wareham High School, home of the Wareham Vikings. With a logo I'm pretty sure I've seen somewhere else.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah.
Here's the 2-2. Misses upstairs. 3 pitches all going above the belt, and now the count filling up at 3-2.
Yeah, Domkowski has missed all those. He had an 0-2, then a 1-2, then a 2-2, and they've all been high. And Domkowski is really struggling with his location. He needs to bring that down a little bit and finally finish off Sems.
Working from the stretch now comes set, hands meet at the belt. Kicks and fires the payoff pitch, and it's in there for strike 3. He sends down Ben Sems looking, and that's a huge out number 2.
That was a beautiful off-speed pitch by Nick Domkowski right in the middle of the zone. Sems knew it right when it came in. And after having an 0-2 count, then suffering the 3-2, Domkowski finishes him with a 3-2 breaking ball in the middle of the zone for his third strikeout of the evening, and now it's Chad Stevens. But Domkowski is right on the verge of getting out of this inning.
He's got one more batter to go here, and it's Chad Stevens, who's 0 for 1. He flew out into right field for Kyle Hess with bases loaded back in that first inning. First pitch now to Stevens. Fly ball into left center field. Back on it are McKenzie and Fabian. Fabian calling off McKenzie, and he makes the catch for out number 3. It's no runs off of no hits. 1 left on and 1 air in the inning by Xavier Warren. But Domkowski and the Braves get out of it. We're finished with the first third. We head to the top of the 4th when we come back right here on the Braves Baseball Network. After committing the error in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Xavier Warren leads us off here in the top of the 4th 2-2 ball game between the Bravos and the first place Wareham Gatemen. First pitch into Warren is in for a strike right at the knees. Braves already beat one first place team this week. That was Katuitt 2 nights ago. 0-1 to Warren as outside for a ball. Count evens at 1-1. Warren with 2 home runs on the season, 1 from each side of the plate. He bats in the right-hander's box here against the lefty Gates as the 1-1 misses outside. Now he's got the 2-1 advantage.
Yeah, Warren has been known, at least in the first half, to be sort of a streaky hitter. When he has a good game, he'll come right back with a bad game. But he's been getting a lot better at being more consistent.
2-1 misses up and out, and now Warren has big hitters count here at 3-1. Warren hit that double back in the first inning, an RBI double to score Cody Morissette. Down into left field. 3-1 pitch is a strike. And now we got ourselves a full count here at 3-2.
And Warren can, if he gets a good pitch, can really take one to a gap. And we'll see what JP Gates gives him here at 3-2, but it's going to be the best pitch that he has.
Shakes off 4 signs in a row, and he tells his catcher, Dallas Beaver, to rerun through that sequence. They come to an agreement. Here comes the payoff pitch from Gates, and it misses way upstairs on the fastball. It's a leadoff walk here for the Bravos in the top of the 4th.
That's important for the Braves to lead off with a runner on. Xavier Warren takes a walk. That's just the 8th walk for him this season. Gets on for the 2nd time, and now it's the middle of this order with already a runner on base. The Braves could be threatening here in the top half of the 4th inning.
Yeah, here's Jimmy Glowacki, the shortstop. Grounded out to Ben Sems. His first time. Throw on to first base, and Warren's back in with a slide. Remember, Gates has already picked off 2 Braves, only one of which was actually thrown out. First pitch to Glowacki misses outside for a ball. Gates working from the stretch, comes set, hands me just in front of the letters. Here's the 1-0 to Glowacki, and that's down low. It's a 2-0 count. Now here comes Jerry Weinstein here to go chat with his pitcher Gates.
And Weinstein in the last game that was here at Spillane Field took a lot of these mound visits in the later innings to slow down the Braves' momentum as they were starting to come back from that Braves or from the Wareham original 7-1 lead. And you'll see that throughout this game, if the Braves get any sort of momentum, anything going their way, he'll run out onto the field, have a quick visit with whoever's pitching, slow down any momentum the Braves can have. And the Braves certainly don't like it. We saw their dugout chirping a little bit the last time we were here at Spillane Field.
Yes, absolutely. And that was a very closely contested game after the Gatemen took a 6-run lead, a 7-1 advantage. Braves were starting to slowly climb back when all those mound visits came. 2-0 is another move to first base. Warren is back in with a half-hearted slide. He kind of got down, didn't really have to.
Well, JP Woodward's not allowing these Braves base runners to get any sort of a big lead. Warren's right there hugging the bag.
2-0 pitch is fouled off toward the dugouts on the first base side, the Wareham dugout. Count now at 2-1. Some activity going on in the Wareham bullpen. It's very wellly disguised. It's behind the right field fence, and there's signage all across the fence, so all you can see is just a baseball flying around. 2-1 pitch is foul ball on the first base side. Count evens at 2-2. It sounds like Glowacki broke his bat, and he's going to have to go get a new one.
Yeah, first broken bat of the night. But you mentioned the Wareham bullpen. They don't have the little tiki torch thing going tonight.
I think that's saved for nighttime. I think we'll see it later tonight.
It's not nighttime yet?
Well, I mean, it's only 7:50. Sunset's probably like in half an hour or so. A little overcast, so it's hard to tell. Wind picking up a little bit. Cool evening here in Wareham, Massachusetts on the gateway to the Cape. 2-2 pitch to Glowacki, skied into shallow right field. McLean is under it, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Glowacki now falling to 0 for 2.
Right off the end of the bat from Glowacki, didn't get great contact on it, skied it over to right field. McLean, a routine out for him in right field, and that's the first out. So now Greer coming up, who's been hot recently, got on with a single, an RBI single that scored Xavier Warren in his last at-bat. And you're going to see Darren Baker, Benjamin Sims as well. Second base and short playing pretty close to that second base bag in double play formation.
Greer 1 for 1, RBI single back in the first. And he takes this pitch over to the left side. Chad Stevens makes the play, throws out to second in time. Throw on to first from Darren Baker is also in time. It's another double play. Second in 2 innings now for the Gatemen. 5-4-3 for the final 2 outs. And we'll head now to the bottom of the 4th inning. Score still remains 2-2 here on the Bourne Braves YouTube channel. 9-1, 2 spots due up here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Toru Otsuka to get us started here. A 2-2 ball game between the Braves and the Gatemen. Both teams scoring 2 runs in the first inning. Now Domkowski here working in the bottom of the fourth. First pitch to Otsuka. He squares to bunt, pulls back, and the pitch misses sky high for ball 1.
Yeah, Otsuka a strikeout looking in the second inning. So he's already 0 for 1 today.
Xavier Warren, the third baseman, playing up on the infield grass in anticipation of the bunt. 1-0 is a call and strike right at the knees, and count evens at a ball and a strike. Domkowski shakes off a couple signs from Jacob Campbell. Now finally comes with the 1-1 pitch, lined into left field. Jake McKenzie played it perfectly, though. He was aligned right where he needed to be, and he makes the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, he was playing a little bit in for the left field position, and he was right there. Otherwise, if he was back just a little bit, that ball would have fallen in for a single, but he was right there and caught it on the line out to retire Otsuka for the second time tonight.
Here's Braden Ward now stepping in. 0 for 2. This is his third at-bat here in just the first 4 innings. Grounded out to Morissette in the first, and then that flew out to Jake McKenzie last time. First pitch to him is missing down and away for ball 1. Ward with 16 stolen bases on the year, so you'd have to assume if he finds a way on base tonight, he's most likely going to be running. 1-0 is in the zone on the outer half. Count evens now at a ball and a strike.
He also ranks 6th place in the league for average. Came into this game with a .333 average. Has been retired twice.
Domkowski waiting for his sign from Campbell. Shakes off one. Now steps, kicks, and fires the 1-1. Fly ball into shallow center field. Fabian on the run. And he can't come up with it, diving for the ball. He can't make the play, and he looks to be shaken up as Ward cruises into second base with a double. And time will be called, and Judge Fabian center field is going to be 10-2.
That might be the wrist. In fact, I can almost guarantee it's the wrist. He tried to dive for that ball and almost ended up with it in a fantastic catch, but it ends up coming out on his rollover, and he is in pain over in center field. Harvey Shapiro also coming out to go look at him. But that hand just rolled over when he dove out for that catch when the ball came out, and he's in pain in center.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. Trainer Megan Wand checking up on him as Harvey Shapiro is making his way out there as well. And for the time being, this game has come to a standstill. Judge Fabian, a really young kid out of Florida, decided against playing in his senior season of high school baseball to go join the Florida Gators a semester early this past winter.
Yeah, he's been a player that has ignited this lineup from the leadoff position. He had that 2-home run game a few games ago against Katsuit. He gets up, and he's really showing toughness. He's going to stay in this ball game.
Wow. Yeah, Judge Fabian, as he gets round of applause from both sets of fans here, is going to decide to stay in the game. You have to imagine he's pretty shaken up there. You said it, Sam. That wrist, as he was going for the catch, just rolled over. But for the time being, he'll stay in tonight's game. And now the Braves will have to get themselves out of a situation here with a runner on second and 1 out.
Yeah, that was a tough play. Braden Ward, again, not the best contact. Came off the end of the bat. The problem was it just got hit in the shallow area of center field. Fabian almost making a great catch, but nonetheless, Braden Ward is now over at second with only 1 out in this inning. And the top of this lineup is due up, 2, 3, 4.
Here's Darren Baker, 2 for 2 with 2 singles. First pitch to him is strike called on the outer half. It's a good start for Domkowski, who was able to get out of a runner on second with nobody out jam in the bottom of the third. Now has to do almost the same thing in the bottom of the fourth here. And Darren Baker would be a huge out to get. There goes the runner, Ward. The 0-1 pitch is in the zone. Throw down, and it's not even close. Ward with his 17th stolen base of the season, and he robs third base.
He got a great jump on that one. Can't do much if you're Jacob Campbell from the catcher's spot. Throw was Not in time by a long shot. Ward slid in with plenty of time. That's already the third stolen base in 4 innings given up by Jacob Campbell.
Infield will now come up to play on the baseline now. Not quite all the way on the grass. Here's the 0-2. And swung on and missed by Darren Maker. He goes down on 3 pitches, and that's a huge out number 2 here in the bottom of the 4th.
Especially with Braden Ward getting over to third. Darren Baker strikes out, so now the sacrifice fly is taken out of the equation with 2 outs, and it's up to Jacob Teeter, who's gotten on twice today, to try and hit Ward in for a go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, 1 for 1 with the run scored. He doubled back in the first inning. He walked his last time. First pitch from Domkowski misses, up and out for ball 1. Teeter coming into tonight's game batting at .301. And it's only gone up since then. Here's the 1-0. Misses down and out now, and he's got the lead in this at-bat here, 2-0.
Teeter, a player that's already doubled and came around to score. A walk as well in the second inning. Has had Domkowski's number here today.
Braden Ward trying to force Domkowski to balk on third base. 2-0 pitch, fouled straight back and heads up over there by the high school. Count now at 2-1. Two and 1 count here from Nick Domkowski going up against Jacob Teeter. Here's the pitch from Domkowski. Fly ball into right field. Kyle Hess seems under it. He's staring it down and tracks it into the glove for out number 3. So a little bit of a scary moment with Judd Fabian, but the Braves get out of the inning without surrendering a run. It's no runs off of 1 hit and 1 left on here for the Wareham Gatemen. We head now to the top of the 5th inning, all tied up at 2 runs apiece. And you're watching it on the Bourne Braves YouTube channel. Top of the 5th inning, and the Gatemen have made a pitching change to end J.P. Gase's day at 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, none of which earned, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Now in the game is Levi Prater for the Gatemen, Sam.
Yeah, pitching in his 4th game as he fires the first pitch to McKenzie.
And misses outside. What are we looking at here with Prater on the mound?
Yeah, Prater, a right-handed pitcher, or left-handed pitcher, out of Oklahoma.
And Jake McKenzie takes a fly ball into right center field. Back on it is Ward and McLean at the wall. And Ward makes the catch running into the wall. It was just that close from Jake McKenzie from his 2nd home run of the season. But instead, it's the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that was a close one as he shrugs back to the dugout. Really wanted that pitch back. Just got a little under it. He just put it in a pretty deep part of the ballpark, and it couldn't carry. But Prater, lefty out of Oklahoma, a 1-1 record on the year. This will be his fourth game he's pitching in, and a low 1.17 ERA in 7 2/3 innings pitched, striking out 5, walking 6, and allowing 5 hits. The last game he pitched in was July 6th against Harwich, where he went 2 2/3 there, only allowing 1 hit.
First pitch to Nick Bruiser stepping in now as swung on and missed up over his head. Got him to chase after that one, and now the 0-1 is off speed down low. Bruiser fans at it, and very quickly now he falls behind 0-2. Bruiser 0 for 1. He popped up to Jacob Teeter his first time. 0-2 now. That's in the dirt for ball 1. Tie ball game here between the Braves and the Gatemen, 2-2, top of the 5th inning. The offense has chilled down after scoring 4 runs combined in the first. 1-2 pitch is off speed and in right at the knees. Bruiser doesn't like the call, but he goes down looking.
That was a tough one for Nick Bruiser, and now that's his 11th strikeout on the season. Has a little bit of a strikeout problem in 33 at-bats. He struck out in the third of them. He goes down looking for the second out of the inning, and you mentioned, Jordan, is the first pitch to Jacob Campbell.
It goes up high for ball 1. Campbell on today. Grounded out to Darren Baker his first time.
The first inning, these two offenses came alive for 2 runs apiece each.
As the 1-0 is off speed and finds the zone 1-1. And not to cut you off, Sam, but again, we saw a frisbee being thrown in the Wareham bullpen last time. I just saw a football. Look, there it is right there, sailing through the sky.
Oh, wow, they have some fun back there.
They definitely do. 1-1 pitch is fouled off and will go out of play behind the screen at home plate. It must be interesting being a life as a bullpen pitcher.
Yeah, we've seen the Bourne Braves have a little bit of fun too. I believe a few weeks ago, Tyler Broach just put a bag on his head. It was a video that was on Foul Pole Sports.
Yeah, the 1-2 misses up high, counted 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, this first inning, both offenses coming alive for 2 runs each, and it's cooled off. And I think if you're playing the bullpen, the Braves have a bullpen advantage against the Wareham Gatemen.
2-2 is fouled off into the netting over the first base dugouts, and Cal will stay put at 2-2. And yeah, I think in a shootout, you would likely take the Gatemen, but if it's a battle of the bullpens, I think I'd probably side with the Braves. 2-2 pitch now from Prater to Campbell. It's in the dirt, almost hits Campbell, and now the count fills up at 3-2.
Campbell saw a 2-2 count in his first at-bat. He grounded over to second, now has a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Prater finally getting a little bit of a test here in his third batter that he's facing.
Payoff pitch here from Prater to Campbell. Skied into shallow left field. Ben Sams going back on it. He calls off the left fielder Otsuka and makes the catch for out number 3. It's a very quick 1-2-3 inning for the Braves. They go down in order. And when we come back, we have the bottom of the 5th inning here from Spillane Field. 2-2 our score here on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. 4, 5, 6 spots due up here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Del Castillo, McLean, and Beaver. 2-2 our score here in Spillane Field in Wareham, Massachusetts. Jordan Palacio alongside Sam Wiederhaven. We hope your Thursday has gone together smoothly. This game, after a pretty explosive first inning, Sam, has surprisingly turned into a pitcher's duel.
It's cooled off a little bit, but Nick Domkowski has still given up hits to this Wareham Gatemen lineup. Every single inning, they've had a runner at least second base. So Domkowski has been able to get out of some situations he would just love. A quick 1-2-3 inning, and what is most likely going to be his last. He's only gone 5 innings. That's the longest outing he's ever had. So this is most likely going to be his last inning. He'd love an easy one right here against the middle of this Wareham lineup.
Adrian Del Castillo, tonight's designated hitter, looks at ball 1 in the dirt. 0 for 2 so far in today's game. Struck out and flew out, and he swings and misses at the 1-0. Count evens out with a ball and a strike. Domkowski, 5 innings as his longest outing on the season. He threw that the last time against Harwich. And the 1-1 pitch skied on the infield. It will stay in fair territory. Warren calls off Glowinky, the shortstop. The ball moves at the last second because of the wind, but Warren hangs on to it for out number 1.
Yeah, the wind that's been there all night, it's carrying toward right field, and you saw it on that fly ball right there as Xavier Warren smiles it off with Jimmy Glowinky. It moved just to his left side at the very last minute, but he tracked it in the entire time and put it right in the glove. That's a quick first out. Domkowski's been good at getting a quick first out. It's just the batters after that have been a little bit of a struggle for him.
First pitch now to Matt McLean is down low for ball 1. McLean had a 2 RBI single. He's the reason we're tied right now back in the first, and then reached on base thanks to a Xavier Warren throwing error. Got to second where he was stranded. 1-0 is off speed and right down the middle, and the count even is now a ball and a strike. Braves trying to climb back here into the Western Division race. They have a safe spot right now in 4th, trying to inch closer and closer to 3rd. So the 1-1 misses inside, 2-1 now. Just trailing the Commodores from Falmouth by 5 points from that 3rd place position. And it's interesting, this Braves team just a little bit ago was only ahead of Hyannis by 5 points. 2-1 misses down in the dirt. Count now at 3-1.
Yeah, you thought that those top 3 would kind of pull away, but it's such a long season that anything can really happen. Any team can go for a run, and the Braves are on that run right now, and they need to make the most out of this as much as they can, because who knows when the Braves are going to be playing this good of baseball again. And they've been having a great couple games these past 3 games, and they need to really ride that out for as long as they can and gain as much ground on Falmouth as they can, that 3rd place team.
Here's a 3-1 now to McLean, and it's a fastball in the zone. Count fills up, and Domkowski a strike away from his second out here in the 5th. Playoffs here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Top 4 teams from each division face off 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 in the best of 3 series. 3-2 popped up foul out of play on the first base side. And we know, Sam, it's not necessarily about what your seed is in the playoffs. It's more so about just getting into the playoffs and being hot at the right time.
Yeah, and that's what the Braves need to make sure they do, is by the end of the season, they're playing their best baseball of the year heading into the playoffs, so they can ride a little bit of a hot streak and do well in the playoff baseball.
Payoff pitch, swung on and missed. Nick Domkowski sends Matt McLean down, swinging for out number 2 here in the 5th inning.
2 quick outs for Nick Domkowski on the mound. And that's big for him. He's looking for that quick 1-2-3 inning, and inning that might most likely will be his last. Kerry Wright is warming up right now for the Bourne Braves in the bullpen in the tie ball game. He struggled in his last appearance, but Domkowski working through the middle of this lineup right now.
Here's Dallas Beaver. First pitch to him, he grounds up the middle into no man's land. It's a 2-out single for the catcher Beaver, right in between Morissette and Glowinky at passing second base. And now up steps Ben Sims with 2 away.
Well, the last time Nick Domkowski was able to get 2 quick outs in the first 2 batters he saw in the inning was back in the 2nd when he retired Tora Otsuka and Braden Ward. And then it was Darren Baker who singled with 2 outs, Jacob Teeter who walked with 2 outs to put runners on first and second. And luckily he was able to get Adrian Del Castillo for the 3rd out of the inning.
Now here's Ben Sims, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. First pitch to him in the dirt. Campbell doing a nice job of keeping it in front for ball one. Beaver, the catcher, over at first base. I would think most likely not going to be moving here on the catcher Campbell. We've already seen 3 stolen bases. I guess you never really know. Dymkowski comes set, fires the 0-1, grounded over to second base. Morissette picks it up on a hop. It short hopped him, flips to Glowanke for the short outs at second base, and that'll do her here in the bottom of the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left on for the Gatemen. We head now to the top of the 6th inning, all squared at 2 runs apiece, and you're watching it here on the Braves Baseball Network. Top of the 6th inning, it's the 9-1, 2 spots due up for the Bravos here in the 2-2 ball game. Sam, let's get a little update from around the Cape, shall we?
Yeah, we already have a final. YD over Brewster, 5-3. That game was being played at YD's Red Wilson Field, in a field that doesn't have any lights. The game was called after 8 innings, so that game goes in favor of the Red Sox. 1-0 Katuitt over Harwitz in a West-East matchup at White House Field. That game is in the top of the 8th.
First pitch to Kyle Hess is called a strike. He falls behind 0-1. What else we have?
Top of the 4th inning at Veterans Field, Falmouth right now over Chatham 5-2.
The 0-1 to Hess misses outside, and I believe we have one more, Sam.
We do. Bottom of the 5th inning at Eldridge Park, Hyannis and Orleans both knotted at 0.
And that's interesting for sure. 1-1 misses the zone and goes behind the catcher Beaver. 2-1 now, and the Braves, Sam, looking for their first hit since the top of the 1st inning. They've been held hitless ever since.
Yeah, J.P. Gates and now Levi Prater have done a good job of silencing this Braves lineup.
2-1 is grounded in, and check that out. That hop outs up over the head of Darren Baker, and the Braves will take it any way they can get it here. It's a leadoff single for Hess off the huge hop.
Oh, that could be that gravel working for you. Hits it and right over Darren Baker's head at second. Right when you say that, Jordan, the Braves haven't had a hit since the top of the 1st inning. Kyle Hess gets on for the first hit since the top of the 1st now in the 6th. So the Braves lead off with another runner on base, back to the top of the lineup, and Judd Fabian coming in.
Fabian, after hurting that wrist in center field, he gets his first at bat. Pickoff move over to first base is closer than it might have looked, but Hess is back in with a slide. Fabian looking to rectify his night tonight. He's probably happy he doesn't have to see J.P. Gates anymore. He was 0-2 with 2 strikeouts against him. Gates only 2 strikeouts against his Braves lineup. Now first pitch to Fabian is outside, 1-0.
Yeah, talk about how it's surprising that it's tied 0-0 between Hyannis and Orleans. I think it's almost more surprising that Hyannis doesn't have a run yet because of how their offense and lineup has been playing lately.
Yeah, the 1-0 misses outside. I think it's also surprising that giving the pitching staff for Hyannis that they haven't given up a run yet.
That's true, but Orleans also has one of the bottom 2 averages, and that's been one thing. They haven't really been able to heat up in their batting lineup. They had a 5-game win streak.
2-0 was fouled off back into the screen. Yeah, they had that 5-game win streak, and it was followed up by a 6-game losing streak.
That's just a wave of emotions there, but one thing that's been consistent, unfortunately for them, has been their struggles on hitting. They haven't really been able to solve that yet.
Yeah, it's been their offense or the lack thereof as the 2-1 curves into the zone, now evening up the count at 2-2 to the center fielder, Judd Fabian.
And Fabian's not looking to go down for a 3rd time on the strikeout. He struck out swinging both in the 1st and the 3rd innings.
2-2 now to Fabian, as we'll have a move over to first base, and Hess is back in standing up. So Fabian grips the pine tar on the bat. Now steps back into the box here at a 2-2 count. Going up against Levi Prater. 2-2 pitch, fouled straight back into the screen, and we'll do things once again at 2-2.
Good battle for Judd Fabian, who is not willing to go down yet again. He's seeing a lot of pitches from Levi Prater here. He'll do the 2-2 yet again.
Prater takes a look at first and decides to throw over there. Low throw. Teeter is able to hang on to it. Hess back in without even being tagged. And now Prater will step back on the rubber. Look in and get a sign from the catcher Beaver. Now sets. Comes home with the 2-2 pitch. Fouled off once again by Fabian, who's putting in a nice battle here against the lefty Prater. And once again, the count remains at 2-2.
He's fouling off some pretty good pitches that are landing in the strike zone from Levi Prater. I wouldn't be surprised if Prater tries to test something out and throw a ball outside of the zone here on Judd Fabian. See if he swings at it. He's got one more ball to give.
2-2 pitch, and it was in the dirt. No drop, third strike with a runner on first base. So Fabian, for the third time tonight, is sent down on strikes, and is the first out here in the top of the sixth.
Well, Fabian, since his 3-run homer against Katuitt 2 games ago, has now fallen under an 0-for-7 curse. Went 0 for last night and 0 for 3 so far with 3 strikeouts tonight. He goes down for the third time, and that brings up Morissette with 1 out.
Morissette looking for his first hit of the evening as well. 0 for 1. It was hit by a pitch and later came around to score as he gives a big swing and a miss and falls behind 0-1. Grounded into a 1-6-3 double play back in the top of the third, ending that inning. Morissette trying to get some offense going here for the Braves. Top of the sixth inning. 0-1 pitch to him. This is up by the letters. Count now evens at a ball and a strike. Braves tied up here with the first place Gatemen as Morissette calls time.
And we know how good Wareham is. This is good to see the Braves obviously putting up a battle in a tie game, now entering the later part of this game.
Here's the 1-1 to Morissette. Popped up foul over our heads, likely to land on the roof here of Wareham High School. See, once again, our roof idea.
Yeah, we're going to visit that again.
Get some chairs up there. I think it'd be a nice way to watch the game.
It could be a little bit of a hazard.
It's not that big of a deal. 1-2 is in the dirt. Count now evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think it's probably a hazard to be broadcasting off the third base dugout.
I was going to say, couldn't be more of a hazard than what we're doing right now.
Yeah, but it's happening. So the Raptor Cage, as it's been dubbed here at Spillane Field. 2-2 pitch now to Morissette, and he goes down swinging. He chased at the high fastball, and now 2 outs here thanks to 2 strikeouts in the top of the sixth.
Yeah, that's 2 fastballs off the hand of Levi Prater on the mound. He's doing an incredible job here already. He allowed the first batter to get a single in Kyle Hess, and he's retired the next 2 on strikeouts.
Now it's Xavier Warren, who had an RBI double back in the first inning and walked in the third. First pitch to him. This is down and out for ball 1.
Yeah, what did Carson Field call it in the before the Braves? The Shark Cage?
The Shark Tank, I think.
The Shark Tank?
Yeah, kind of what it is. It's about,
it is.
It's about
it
that
is.
size. Maybe Shark Tank is a little more cramped than this.
Well, did you see that shark spotted
Off
off
of
Martha's Vineyard?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's scary for sure. 1-0 pitch popped sky high on the foul side. Watch out over toward the camera. Jacob Teeter makes a catch in foul territory. And that will do it here for the top of the sixth inning. Harvey Shapiro is a little unsure about maybe the ball hitting the net. He's talking with one of the umpires. And I doubt this conversation is going to go anywhere. We'll keep it here just for the time being. And the umpire is telling him that what I saw was caught cleanly. So that'll do us here for the top of the sixth inning. Scoring 2-2 after the single from Kyle Hess goes nowhere as no runs off 1 hit and 1 left on base. It's going to be Josh Culver coming into the game here for the Bravos when we come back on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. Bottom of the 6th inning, and Nick Dumkowski's night has come to an end. He throws 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned, giving up 3 walks and 5 strikeouts. He will earn a no decision from tonight's game, no matter how it turns out. So now on the mound for the Bravos, it's Josh Culliver.
Culliver actually started the last game for the Braves at Spillane Field, giving up 7 runs in the first 2 innings, but he comes out of the bullpen for the 7th time this year. An 0-1 record, 6.92 ERA, and 13 innings pitched. He's stricken out 8 batters while walking 5 and allowing 3 home runs on the season as well.
First pitch to Chad Stevens, misses outside, 1-0.
Last time Culliver pitched was against Katuitt, where he went 3 innings there, allowing just 1 hit, 1 earned run, walking 2, and striking out 3.
Yeah, that was back on July 7th as the 1-0 is in the zone. Count now at a ball and a strike. An opportunity for Culliver to redeem himself here. Gave up 7 runs the last time he pitched at Spillane Field over just 2 innings. 1-1 now to Stevens. And that misses down and in for a ball. 2-1 now.
And that was a rough outing for Josh Culliver, who started his first and only game so far of the season. Was taken out after just 2 innings, allowing 7 runs on 6 hits.
2-1 now to Chad Stevens. Just misses the zone. Gets a little oohs and ahs from the Braves dugout. And the count now at 3-1. The 3-1 delivery from Culliver. Fly ball to left center field. Fabian and McKenzie going back on it. Meeting, and Fabian calls off McKenzie, and he makes the catch for an important out, number 1.
Well, Fabian had to cover more ground than McKenzie did. I was surprised that he called off McKenzie because Fabian coming from center, that ball was hit more in the left field area, but he does it anyways, and Fabian gets the first out of the inning, and it seems like his wrist isn't really bothering him too much there after that incident a few innings ago.
It appears, at least for the time being, that he's shucking it off. I think the adrenaline is also carrying through for him a little bit. Will have to be reevaluated at the end of the game and tomorrow morning, I'm sure. Toru Otsuka hooks the first pitch thrown to him, foul down the right field line. And he falls behind in the count, 0-1. 0 for 2 for Otsuka. Struck out looking the first time, back in the second, and flew out to Jake McKenzie the last time. Here's the 0-1. That's in the zone for a strike, and Culliver with the 0-2 advantage over the left fielder Otsuka.
Now, the thing about Josh Culliver is that he only has an 0-1 record. He's one of the more dominant arms out of the bullpen, but in games he's pitched in, the Braves are 1-5, only winning against Orleans back on June 16th.
Here's the 0-2 from Culliver. Swung on and missed. He was able to speed the fastball up high past Otsuka, and he sends him down on strikes for out number 2.
Yeah, that was way past Otsuka. A very late swing on his part, and Culliver gets the first 2 outs, but Wareham has not been retired in order yet this time. Yet in this game. They're always a 2-out threat. So back to the top of the lineup, and Braden Ward. We'll see what happens here with 2.
He's 1 for 3 tonight as the corners come to play in. Warren's on the grass. Bruiser is about playing even with the bag. First pitch to the center fielder, Ward. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Ward doubled back in the 4th inning and then stole third with ease before being stranded there. Culliver getting a sign from Campbell. Steps and fires the 0-1. Ground ball up the middle, right back at Culliver. He gloves it. Underhand flip to first base and plenty of time for out number 3. Josh Culliver comes in, and he works himself a 1-2-3 inning. We head to the last third of this ball game here, 2-2, as we head to the top of the 7th inning. And you're watching it on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. Top of the 7th inning between the Braves and the Gatemen. Jordan Palacio here alongside Sam Wiederhalf. 2-2 game. As the 4, 5, 6 spots due up here for the Bravos. Only one hit since the first inning, and that was off the bat of Kyle Hess, thanks in part to a ridiculous hop that bounced over Darren Baker. It's Jimmy Glowacki to lead us off here in the 7th frame. 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out. First pitch to him almost hits him in the foot. He backs out of the zone, and he leads now at 1-0.
And the Braves could have their little streak snapped in the past 8 games, or where they've scored at least 3 runs or more.
1-0 pitches down the line. The third baseman Stevens makes a sliding catch. Throw across the diamond is in time for out number 1, and Chad Stevens robs Glowacki of possibly a double there.
That was roped right down the third base line, and Chad Stevens did a great job of diving and stopping that ball. But the most important part of that play was the throw. It was a direct bullet over to Jacob Teeter covering first, and was in time to get Glowacki for the first out of the inning.
Now here comes Jackson Greer, one of only 3 Braves hits so far today. He looks at ball 1 outside.
And the past 8 games as well, they've also gotten 7 or more hits.
1-0 now is outside as well. Greer with a 2-0 advantage over the pitcher Levi Prater. Jackson singled in the first inning and then grounded into a double play in the 4th. 2-0 is off speed, and it's in the zone for strike 1. And Greer in love with the double. Out of his 9 hits so far on the season with the Braves, 5 of them have been doubles. 2-1 pitch is taken in a shallow left field. That's Ben Sims back on it, and he makes the catch for out number 2.
Yeah, and that ball just catching a little too much air off the bat of Jackson Greer. Sims had just enough time, the shortstop, to back up and put that play away in shallow left field. And again, that's 2 up, 2 down. There's only been 1 hit since the top of the first for the Braves.
Jake McKenzie stepping in. He looks at a first pitch strike from Levi Prater. McKenzie on tonight's evening is 0 for 2. Ground out on the fly out. 0-1 now is outside. A ball and a strike now. One now to McKenzie. Big swing and a miss there on the off speed. Looked to be ahead of it. Now he falls behind 1-2.
And this is just going to be a battle of the bullpens throughout. Both starters gave up 2 runs.
And the 1-2 is in the dirt. 2-2 now.
And it's just who's going to be the first one to give up 1 or 2 runs here in this game. It looks like that's how it's going to be from the 7th inning on.
2-2 pitch now to McKenzie, and it's in the zone for strike 3. The catcher, Bieber, dropped it. He applies the tag, and McKenzie chuckling as he goes back to the bench because he cannot believe it was called a strike. But the Braves sent down in order here. 1, 2, 3 in the top of 7th. It's stretch time here from Spillane Field, and we're all knotted up at 2 runs apiece when we come back. The bottom of the 7th inning from Spillane Field on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. Bottom of the 7th inning between the Wareham Gatemen and the Bourne Braves. Jordan Palacio here alongside Sam Wiederhalf. A little bit of a chilly night with the breeze here at Spillane Field. 2-2 score between the Braves and the Gatemen, as 2, 3, 4 spots are due up here, and they're facing off against Josh Culliver, who went a 1, 2, 3 bottom of the 6th.
And this is going to be the first time they're facing Josh Culliver, as his first inning was the last one.
First pitch into Baker, finds his zone on the off speed. He leads 0-1. Baker, 2 for 3. 2 singles in the first and the second with a run scored and a stolen base in there. Struck out on 3 pitches back in the 4th. And he fouls the 0-1 off straight back into the screen. Right in front of the friendly face of Quinn Stebbins, who had a bucket last time, and it looks like he doesn't have one this time. Standing for the entire game.
That's tough.
Yeah, it is brutal.
That's tough. I've done that before. That's a tough job.
0-2 now to Baker. It's in the dirt. Campbell blocks it. Count now at 1-2.
And the Braves are going to rely on Culliver to pitch this inning, maybe the next, but possibly can only see him going 2. I don't believe there's an arm warming up right now, so they could be leaving Culliver in for the 8th as well. But his job has to be to silence these Wareham bats and get the Braves back hitting so they can come back and get a lead in this 2-2 game.
1-2 misses up and into Banker, just in front of the letters. Now the count evens at 2-2. We were under the impression that we might see Carl Johnson throw in this game. As the 2-2 pitch to Baker, slice foul down the left field line, heads up over toward the windows of Wareham High School. But like you said in the last couple of innings, Sam, this game has turned into the battle of the bullpens.
It has, and it'll continue to do that. First team to blink is going to be the one that loses this ball game.
2-2 pitch popped up almost in the same exact spot, foul, this time just with a little less power on it. And now the count still at 2-2.
Darren Baker, the son of Dusty Baker, a MLB veteran and manager as well, former manager. A big name, certainly, to uphold.
2-2 pitch is chopped fair down the first base line. Bruiser going to cover the bag, also picks up the ball with him. And it's a quick out number 1 here in the bottom of the 7th.
And that ball almost got out of the reach of Bruiser. He was charging in toward the bag and the ball was a little more left of the bag than he thought. Made a last-second adjustment, put the glove in the right place, and fielded it. All he had to do was tag over first for the first out of the inning. That's 4 straight batters retired for Josh Culliver on the mound.
Yeah, it took a bad hop, and that ball almost came out of the glove of Nick Bruiser at first base. Now Jacob Teeter steps in, and he swings and misses at the first pitch. Teeter is 1 for 2 tonight with a double, a run scored, a walk, and a fly out. And he would be a huge out to get for Culliver. 0-1 is in the zone, and Culliver dealing so far with a quick 0-2 lead over Teeter.
He's having one of his special outings so far. No hits allowed just yet. He only did that once against Orleans, where he pitched 2 innings there, striking out 2.
0-2 misses down and outside. Count now at a ball and 2 strikes.
But you know Josh Culliver is going to be dangerous when you see players fanning his fastball. They've been incredibly late on the high, fast stuff that Culliver has given them.
1-2 now from Culliver. Lined, and this will get down for a hit in right field. It takes a couple of hops before Kyle Hess, and the Gatemen, for the first time since the 5th inning, have a base runner thanks to the 1-out single off the bat of Teeter.
All right, when I say that, Culliver delivers a fastball to Teeter that he puts perfectly into right field in front of Kyle Hess for a 1-out single. So he gets on. The first hit suffered by Josh Culliver, and now it's Del Castillo.
I believe what do we call that? Sam Spell.
Oh, no,
that's what it was.
That's been gone for a while. We don't have to bring that one back.
Well, we just did right now. First pitch now to Adrian Del Castillo. The designated hitter misses outside for ball 1. Del Castillo 0 for 3 in tonight's ball game with a strikeouts and a couple flyouts. Popped up to Xavier Warren on the infield last time. Culliver checks on the runner Teeter at first base. He's back in with a slide, and now he steps back onto the rubber here to go after Del Castillo on the 1-0 count. 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th. 1-0 just misses the zone there from Culliver. Good pitch. Didn't get the call. Now he falls behind 2-0. Del Castillo looking for his first time on base tonight, whether that be by a walk or by a hit. 2-0 pitch, grounded foul down the first base line as Bruiser going after it loses his glove. Count now at 2-1.
And over at first, Jacob Teeter doing the fake steal that is sometimes distracting. That time Culliver doesn't fall for it, but he'll run a little bit and then just stop and wait for the pitch to be thrown.
Yeah, that fake steal, you hope to create a reaction out of the other team. And then perhaps by the time you actually do go to steal, they're used to the fake steal so much. 2-1, hooked, way foul. Del Castillo, way in front of that pitch. He hooks it foul down the right field line. Now the count evens at 2-2.
We've seen a few of those by the Wareham batters where they're just way too early and they'll hook it right down that first base line. We've seen that a lot tonight.
Culliver takes a breath and now fires a 2-2 pitch, grounded to Bruiser at first base. He steps at first base. No, he does not step on first base. They go the long way, and the runner, Del Castillo, called safe. Bruiser caught the ball almost right on the bag. He didn't step on it, though, so they throw to second for the force out there, and Del Castillo was able to beat the throw coming from Jimmy Glowenke.
Yeah, for Bruiser, I don't understand why he didn't tag first base. It was easy, just one step to his left side, but he decides to go and get the force out at second first, get the lead runner, and they do that. But the throw back to first was not in time. So instead of a almost for sure double play, Del Castillo gets on with the fielder's choice with 2 outs, and we know how dangerous the Gatemen are with 2 outs.
First pitch to Matt McLean, misses upstairs. The Gatemen, both of their runs coming off the bat of McLean with a 2-out RBI single back in the bottom of the first inning. And Nick Bruiser, it looked like he had caught the ball on first base. Looks like he's just a bit off as the 1-0 misses outside. Now 2-0 to the right fielder McLean. Time called, and now we're going to have a conversation between Weinstein, the manager, and the home plate umpire as they're going over some information. It looks like we're going to have a pinch runner here in the middle of the at-bat.
That's something we've seen a lot, in at least in the past few games. We've seen some pitching changes in the middle of at-bats. Now a move for a pinch runner in the middle of at-bat as well.
So Mike Antico now comes in to pinch run on first base. It's a 2-0 count to Matt McLean. Still 2 outs here, so you have to imagine with a pinch runner now coming in that we'll see some action over at first base. 2-0 pitch, watch out, right over by us over here in the Raptor cage. Hooked foul. Count now at 2-1.
That was a hard hit line drive right over by the seats over here in the third base side. Luckily, it wasn't over toward the Bourne dugout. That's the first strike of the at-bat.
Two and one. The count to Matt McLean after almost coming into contact with us. He hooks this one. Once again, foul. This time it stays in play, at least until it gets to the third baseline where it's called foul. And now the count at 2-2.
McLean's way early on it, as evidenced by those last 2 pitches. Lined one out third base side. That time was more of a grounder, but it hugged the line and just went foul. So if I'm Xavier Warren, I am absolutely ready, and he is, by playing more toward that third base line, upcoming a 2-2 pitch.
Culliver comes set, hands meet at the belt. Checks over to first base, and Antico, the pinch runner, is back in with the slide. I'm telling you, Sam, I know it's a 1,000,000-to-1 shot, but there's a little bit of a hole right here in the netting on top of the Raptor cage, and after McLean hooked those first 2, it's look a little bit more scary up here. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's not the right angle, I don't think. I don't think that a ball can slip in there.
2-2 pitch. Antico runs. The pitch is in the dirt. Campbell doesn't even have a throw over it. It's another stolen base in this game. Now the count fills up at 3-2.
Yeah, Campbell, that's the 4th stolen base allowed behind the plate for him. As Antico really took advantage of that, make that just his 4th stolen base of the season. And now he's in scoring position. Now a 3-2 count on McLean.
Game tied up at 2-2 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Base hit could be the difference for the rest of the game. Here's the payoff pitch from Culliver, and he fouls it off. right in front of Jacob Campbell. And the count will remain full at 3-2.
That was a great job by McLean to adjust mid at bat and just get a bat on that ball to stay in the at bat on Culliver. This could end up being one of the more important at bats of the game now that Antico is in scoring position with 2 outs and a tie ball game in the bottom of the 7th inning. And make that another inning now where a runner gets over to second base for the Wareham Gatemen.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on second for the Gatemen. Here's the payoff pitch from Culliver. And it misses outside. McLean walks down to first base. The 3rd time he's been on base tonight. Runners on first and second now for the catcher, Dallas Beaver.
And the Braves have been lucky so far in this game with allowing runners on with 2 outs. It's happened so many times and no runs have come out of it that they've been so lucky that this time their luck could run out with, especially with the middle of this lineup now, Dallas Beaver, the six batter coming in with runners on first and second. 2 outs. Culliver just has to retire him, and he's out of it.
And Culliver has some work to do here. First pitch to the catcher, Beaver, is in the dirt. Antico thought about going. He stays put at second base. 1-0 counts. Beaver on tonight's game, he's 1 for 2. Walked his first time. Popped out to Xavier Warren his second time back in the 3rd. And singled in the 5th inning. Right up the middle. Runners on first and second. The 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss there. Beaver way ahead of the off speed. Now the count evens at a ball and a strike.
Great pitch from Culliver to get him swinging. Beaver has a single in this game as well as a walk, so he's 1 for 2 so far. A pretty impressive game for him.
Culliver takes a look at second. Now back home. Fires the 1-1. Just misses. Thought they had the top of the zone there. Campbell tried to frame it up just too high for the home plate umpire. Now the count at 2-1. Tie ball game here between the Braves and the Gatemen. 2-2, but in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2-1 pitch from Culliver. Line straight back up the middle. This will get down for a base hit. 1-1 will score. It's Mike Antico as Kyle House has got the ball. He throws it into the cutoff man, Cody Morissette. Dallas Beaver gives the Wareham Gatemen the lead with an RBI single here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And that's where it comes to bite you right there. Dallas Beaver takes advantage of it with Antico just over at second, gets an RBI single lined out to the right center field gap. And that'll bring in a run, 3-2 now. And the way the Braves have been hitting, it doesn't look good with Harvey Shapiro now stepping out onto the mound to talk to Culliver now. Could be a pitching change.
Yes, runners on the corners as Harvey Shapiro is going to talk to Culliver. He's asking for the ball, and we're going to have a pitching change here. It looks like Nick Iverson is coming into the game. So we'll take a quick break. Nick Iverson is being asked to get out of a jam here with runners on first and third, and now Wareham with the 3-2 lead. We'll come back here on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. Nick Iverson comes into the game, and he's been dealt a bad hand here. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning with runners on first and third. He replaces Josh Culver, who only goes 1 2/3 inning, giving up a run. And like I said, Nick Iverson comes into the game now for the Braves.
And he's the guy the Braves want in this situation. In his 7 games pitched, only has a .81 ERA in 11 innings pitched, only 7 hits allowed, 1 earned run all season. He collected the save a few games ago against Katuitt, and now comes in a runners at the corner situation.
First pitch to the shortstop, Ben Sems, is called a strike. Sems on tonight's game, 0 for 2 with a walk, a strikeout, and he grounded into a fielder's choice back in the 5th inning. If either of the 2 runners on base were to come in and score, they would be credited to Josh Culver. Here's the 0-1. Off speed, just missed the zone outside. Count now evens at a ball and a strike. Wareham have taken the 3-2 lead here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. First run either team has scored since the 1st inning, where both teams scored their 2 runs. 1-1 pitch from Iverson, fouled back toward the high school. Count now to ball and 2 strikes.
Iverson had a tough situation in his last game he pitched in against Katuitt. Only faced 2 batters there. Went 2/3 of an innings. He collected the save when Tyler Brocious almost blew it on the mound for the Braves, the regular everyday closer. Iverson's the guy the Braves want to turn to in this situation to get him out of it.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball that swung on and missed. With 2 outs, Campbell is going to have to make the throw to first base, and he does so in time on the drop third strike. So Nick Iverson comes into the game, and he gets himself a strikeout to get out of the jam. However, the Wareham Gatemen score 1 run off of just 2 hits, and then leave 1 on board. Head now into the final 6 outs of this one offensively for the Braves. To the top of the 8th we go, and it's 3-2 Wareham. You're watching it on the Braves Baseball Network. Levi Prater now still on the mound for the game, and he's now in line for the win if the Gatemen were to hang on. And it looks like the Braves will be making a move here. Jared Poland to come in and pinch hit for Nick Bruiser.
Yeah, Bruiser looks like he's going to be taken out. Poland will come into this game with a .273 average, 6 for 22 on the season. He went 0 for 3 last night. That was the first 0 for performance he's had this season after hitting in his first 5 games. He had a walk against Hyannis, so he did reach base. But he has 4 RBIs on the year, 2 doubles, has struck out only 3 times, and walked just once.
First pitch to Poland from Levi Prater is in the zone for a strike. He falls behind 0-1. So the end of Nick Bruiser's night, he goes 0 for 2 as the 0-1 misses the zone. Ball and a strike now. 0 for 2 with a pop-up and a strikeout to end his night. Here's the 1-1 now to Poland. And that just misses the zone. Perhaps a little low, maybe inside as well. Count now at 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 now from Prater. Big swing and a miss from Poland. The fastball upstairs, and the count evens at 2-2.
And Poland's been good during this stretch where the Braves have won their last 3 games, and Harvey Shapiro's calling on him to ask him to light a fire in this lineup.
2-2 misses downstairs by his feet, and now the count fills up at 3-2. It feels like every base runner now is very important for the Braves as Prater gets his sign. Now steps and fires. The payoff pitch to Poland swung on and missed for out number 1.
Well, every base runner is important, especially when you've only gotten one hit since the top of the first inning. And Poland can't get it done there as he comes up and strikes out on a 3-2 pitch. Now it'll be Jacob Campbell. But every base runner is so important in a close game like this where it's 3-2. The Braves looking to come back from a deficit.
First pitch to the catcher, Jacob Campbell. Misses the zone for ball one. Looks like Kyler Fedko will now pinch hit for Kyle Hess, who was standing on deck. 1-0 to Campbell. Misses upstairs, so Hess's night will come to an end. Two balls, no strikes to count to the catcher Campbell, who's 0 for 2. The ground down and a fly out. 2-0 now. Misses upstairs, and the catcher has worked himself a 3-0 count.
Yeah, and he'll definitely be taking here where he would love a walk to get on base and be that tying run over at first as we're already in the top of the 8th. The Braves not going to have too many chances.
3-0 is in the zone, and you have to think maybe if he gets on base, if Harvey Shapiro decides to pull out a pinch runner. Jackson Greer, the other catcher on the roster, is DHing tonight. Here's a 3-1 to Campbell. Grounded down the third base line, just foul. So now the count will fill up, I should say, at 3-2 here with one away in the 8th.
Yeah, with a 3-0 gimme strike from Levi Prater to make it 3-1. He gets Campbell to foul off. Now it's 3-2, and Campbell's backed up to the wall with a 3-ball and 2-strike count, a player that hasn't gotten too many hits on the season, hasn't been on base that many times. He's looking for his first hit of the evening, and it would be extremely clutch if he could make it happen right now.
Here's the payoff pitch now from Levi Prater, and Campbell pops it up foul over the heads of the dugout in the Wareham side of the field over on first base side, and we'll do things again at 3-2. Another payoff pitch from Prater, and Campbell swings and misses on the off speed. He was way in front of it, and it's back-to-back strikeouts now. Make that 3 in a row for Levi Prater.
Back-to-back strikeouts on 3-ball and 2-strike counts. He strikes out Jacob Campbell on a tough pitch that he just couldn't catch up to, and it will be Kyler Fedko pinch hitting for Kyle Hess.
So Fedko now comes into the game. And obviously there will be some of the defensive changes to the Braves. You would assume that Fedko will just take Hess's spot over in right field, but with Bruiser, the first baseman, being taken out, we'll see how Harvey Shapiro lines that up for the next inning. Fedko, so far on the season for the Braves, is batting at a 179 clip as he fouls the first pitch off. Fedko last played against Hyannis last night. 1 for 4 game and an RBI single. 0-1 now to Fedko. Big swing and a miss, and he swings out of his helmet, too. It popped up off his head, and he quickly falls behind 0-2, and Prater striking out the side here in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, Jordan, you mentioned that average for Kyler Fedko. He's one of the players that the Braves are really hoping can pick it up. He has seen some struggles, 7 for 39, and had a tough swing there.
0-2 pitch is a breaking ball that is in the dirt, so the catcher Bieber will have to throw on to first base, and he does so in plenty of time. It's a strikeout of the side for the Braves, and 4 strikeouts in a row for Levi Prater. We'll take a quick break, and Nick Iverson will retake the mound here for the Braves when we come back on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. Bottom of the 8th inning here. Nick Iverson still on the mound after striking out Benjamin Semps. in the bottom of the 7th inning, stays on to face the 8-9-1 spots of this Wareham lineup. And it starts with Chad Stevens, and Sam needs a strong inning here to not let this lead grow any further than it is.
Yeah, that would be really important, and that's exactly what the Braves are looking for Nick Iverson to do, to get back on the hitting side of things. The Braves will have their top of the lineup due up to try and come back from this one-run lead.
First pitch to Chad Stevens. He squares up to bunt and lays it down, but foul down the third base line, right in front of the Braves bullpen, or excuse me, their dugout. Chad Stevens on tonight's game. He's 0 for 3 with 3 flyouts. 0-1 pitch to him now. Chopped up the middle. It's Jimmy Glowinski to play it off the bounce. Has to make a strong throw to first, and he got him by a step. Big first number out there for Jimmy Glowinski and his Braves defense.
And Jimmy Glowinski had no choice but to wait for that ball to come down from the high bounce that it took, and it bounced right on the edge of the grass, so it could have taken a bad hop, but Glowinski tracked it in perfectly, and his throw to first was perfect. A very fast throw from the shortstop position is able to get Chad Stevens out for the first out.
Yeah, don't misconstrue it. The guys in the infield and even in the outfield, they have some pretty high velo coming out of their arms as well. First pitch to Tora Otsuka, misses upstairs for ball 1. Otsuka not having a great night himself either. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a flyout. 1-0 now from Iverson. Fouled straight back into the screen, and evens things up at a ball and a strike.
Yeah, Casey Schmidtford could do it. He's got a rocket. He pitches as well, but also plays third base, and when he plays third, he fires some rockets over to first, and he got Henry Davis a couple times on some fantastic throws.
1-1 just misses outside. 2-1. I'd love to see what that throw from Glowinski at shortstop registered on the radar, because I would have to think probably mid-80s or so.
We should have a radar gun right behind first base to see what that would be.
2-1 is a broken bat floater to second. Morissette has to play it off the hop. Throw on to first base is in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down now in the bottom of the 8th inning.
And Morissette did a good job of adjusting as the ball was in flight. He thought about catching it on the fly, but he let it bounce right in front of him off the bat of Otsuka. That was a broken bat. If it wasn't a broken bat, that ball could have been down for a single. But Morissette adjusts, fields it on one hop, and throws to first in time.
Now here comes Braden Ward, 1 for 4 in tonight's ball game. Doubled back in the 4th, and that's been his only hit. First pitch to him, and it misses downstairs for ball 1. Last time against Josh Culliver, Ward grounded out right to the pitcher Culliver, who flipped on to first base in time. Beloso is the runner, or excuse me, the first baseman now over there, as the 1-0 taken to Morissette again, has to make a throw from behind second base. High throw, Beloso can't reach it. It almost goes into the dugout. Campbell, the catcher, has to back it up, and he keeps Braden Ward over at first base. And depending on how it's scored, it could be the second error. It's actually ruled a hit for Ward, so mark that down as a single. And the Gatemen have another 2-out base runner.
It's again with 2 outs, like you say, Jordan. They put another runner on base, and they could put another rally together with Darren Baker coming up, who already has 2 hits in this game. It's been the 2-out hitting that got them the 3rd run of the game that could end up being the difference, and now they're looking for some insurance against Iverson.
Here's Darren Baker, 2 for 4. Let's see if Braden Ward moves over there. He already stole 3rd. First pitch to Baker, misses upstairs for ball 1. Baker, like I said, couple singles. Stolen base in there as well, and a run scored. Throw on to first base is definitely close, but Ward is back in with a slide.
Yeah, close tag applied by by Cade Beloso, the new first baseman. Just couldn't get him in time, but Nick Iverson, close throw. Good idea from the pitcher spot.
Another throw over to first base, and Ward back in, sliding head first. Kyler Fedko replaces Kyle Hess in right field. That is all the defensive changes. Nobody warming up right now on the Braves bullpen. Braves trail by 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Darren Baker. Misses outside. Count now at 2-0. The runner on first is Ward, who has 17 stolen bases so far this season for the Gatemen. 1 tonight. Always a threat to go. 2-0 pitch to Darren Baker, just misses outside, and now it's a 3-0 count to the Gatemen second baseman.
And it's almost like clockwork at this point in getting a runner over to second base for the Wareham Gatemen and getting a runner in scoring position, especially with 2 outs. A quick 3-0 count from Iverson.
3-0 pitch misses downstairs. It's a 4-pitch walk, and for the third time tonight, Darren Baker finds himself on base.
Yeah, didn't even have to work at all. Just saw 4 pitches from Iverson that weren't really that close to the zone, and now he's over on first. So with 2 outs, Wareham gets a runner over to second. Runners on first and second with Teeter, the number 3 batter, coming up.
Teeter on tonight's game, he is 2 for 3, a double, a single, a run scored, and a walk. All fill out his stat line tonight. Runners on first and second for the Wareham Gatemen. They're up 3-2 on the Braves. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. First pitch to Teeter, chopped, and it gets through for a base hit. Braden Ward is going to be sent home. The throw coming from left field, and Jake McKenzie, it is not in time. Ward slides around the tag from Jacob Campbell.